Hey everyone, we're going to talk about filling in the unit circle today, and the first thing I want you to notice is the unit circle is actually two different sets of points. We're going to divide the circle into eighths, and we're going to divide the circle into twelfths. If we divide into eighths, well, first off, it's easier to point out going by fourths. 1, 2, 3, 4. Those are the easy points to fill in. But if you go by eighths, you go halfway. So 1/8, 2/8, 3/8, 4, 5/8, 6/8, 7/8, all the way back. And then you can go by twelfths, and the twelfths is just thirds. So you go here to here, to here, to here, to here, to here, to here, and so on. So what that means is all the way around the unit circle is either 360 degrees or 2 pi. So to come up with the angles, if we go by eighths, well, take 360 over 8 degrees over 8, and what you get is 45 degrees. So that means these jumps are 45 degrees. So if this is 0 degrees, the halfway is 45 degrees, then 90 degrees, then 135 degrees, 180 degrees, and then this is 210. That's not correct. Gotta actually add these at some point. 225 degrees. Then this will be 270 degrees and 315 degrees. And 360 degrees is back to here. And the other way is twelfths. And twelfths would be 360 degrees over 12, which if you think about it for a little bit, you'll notice that that's just 30 degrees. So going by twelfths would be 30 degrees, 60 degrees, 90, 120, 150, 180, and then 210 degrees, 240 degrees, 270, 300 degrees, 330 degrees, and back down to 0. So there's all the angles, but we also kind of want them in radians. So the other way of doing it is going by 2 pi. So 2 pi over 8 means we jump by pi over 4. Okay, so that means 0, and then this would be pi over 4. Then this would be 2 pi over 4, but 2 and 4 are both divisible by 2, so that's just pi over 2. Then 3 pi over 4. 4 pi over 4, well, that's just pi. 5 pi over 4. 6 pi over 4. Well, that's 3 pi over 2, because it's an even number on top and bottom. And then 6 followed by 7 pi over 4. And back to 2 pi. Oh, I might as well write that, but I'll write it as 0 because it's easier. And then if we take 2 pi and divide it by 12, what we get is pi over 6. So this first angle here is pi over 6. 2 pi over 6 is pi over 3, because you can reduce it. Then 3 pi over 6 is pi over 2. 4 pi over 6 is 2 pi over 3, right, because you can reduce that. And then this one would be 5 pi over 6. So we're just counting by pi over 6's. 6 pi over 6, 7 pi over 6. 8 pi over 6 is 4 pi over 3. 9 pi over 6. 10 pi over 6 is 5. Oh, that's not a 5. Is 5 pi over 3. And then finally 11 pi over 6. The next one would be back to 2 pi. So there's all your angles just by using the fact that you're going by eighths and twelfths, and that you know that there's 360 degrees in a circle and 2 pi radians in a circle. The next thing we want to do is come up with these points here. And I'm going to just assume that you know that this is 1, 0. 0, 1, negative 1, 0, and 0, negative 1, because they're on the axes. So these are very simple, and it's a unit circle, so this is 1. But these ones, these three in here, are actually kind of harder. But I'm going to point out something. They're all over 2. Every number in here is over 2. So I'm just going to write over 2's, because that part is just a casual observation, and it's one little fact to remember. And then this is the first angle, second angle, and third angle. And let's make this symmetric. So 3, 2, 1. And then take square roots of the numerators. So square root of 1 is 1. Square root of 3. Square root of 2. Square root of 2. Square root of 3. And square root of 1 is 1. Those are actually the points. So first angle, second angle, third angle. Make it symmetric. So 3, 2, 1. And then take square roots of the numerators. And these numbers are going to go here, here, and here. They're all the same points, except this quadrant is the plus plus quadrant. This quadrant is the minus plus quadrant. This quadrant is the minus minus. And this quadrant is the plus minus. That's just if you're keeping score. This is quadrant 1, quadrant 2, quadrant 3, and quadrant 4. Okay, so in order to do this, what you want to do is you want to realize you translate straight across, and straight across. So over here, I get the root 3 over 2, 1/2, but we're in the minus plus quadrant, so minus plus. Then I get the root 2 over 2, root 2 over 2, minus plus quadrant. And then I get the 1/2 root 3 over 2 minus plus quadrant. And now I translate straight down. Straight down. And I'm just doing that because if I tried to translate straight across, I'd end up back over here. So you either translate straight down or straight across. And that means that I end up with here is this negative 1/2 root 3 over 2, but it's the minus minus quadrant. The middle one's root 2 over 2, which is minus from above, and root 2 over 2, which is minus for the fact that we're in quadrant 3. And finally, we get our root 3 over 2, which is minus from above, and our 1/2, which is minus because we're in quadrant 3. Now we translate straight across. Minus, well actually this is going to be plus because we're in quadrant 4, root 3 over 2, comma, 1/2 is minus because we're in quadrant 4. You can also translate straight down, but we'll just keep doing this, bringing that root 2 over 2, comma, root 2 over 2 across. And it's minus because we're in the minus plus quadrant. And finally, we get the 1/2 minus root 3 over 2 because we're in quadrant 4. So there you have it. There's a quick way of computing the entire unit circle using just a couple little facts. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.